I think we will call the meeting to order. Tony, I'm going to ask, are we expecting anyone from EMS? No, not today. Okay, thank you.
Well, we haven't heard negative from anybody, but I don't know if they're going to show up or not.
Okay, they might be joining now. I see someone's coming in. All right, thanks. So we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Thank you, Tony and Patsy and County, for getting this organized on a not our typical meeting day. So thank you for your flexibility there. We have a few items on the agenda today to review. So the first item is the minutes from the February 14th meeting. If everyone had an opportunity to take a look at those minutes, I'd ask for a motion and a second to approve the minutes as submitted.
I move approval.
All right, Chief Fleischner. Anyone a second?
I'm willing, I'll second it.
All right, thank you, Tom. All right, we have a motion and a second. So all in favor, say aye or thumbs up, something that can show us that approval.
I'm willing, aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. All right, anyone opposed? Okay, minutes are approved as submitted. Next item on the agenda are quite a few months of expenditures. We've got February, March, April, and May. Tony, do you can you please highlight for us anything out of the ordinary or anything that you specifically would like to bring to our attention?
Really, the only thing that I just wanted to bring to the board's attention is line item 743-0001. That's the radio communications equipment maintenance. If you'll notice that it is currently at 106%. The reason for that is we budgeted for the radio encryption and portable radios for METCOM in two other line items in the original budget. However, they were coded to this line item instead. So the funding is there, it's just coded in the wrong place, or maybe not necessarily wrong place, but a different place at this point. We will either get that straightened out or maybe money from those other line items moved to this one to make it look a little bit better. But overall, the budget is where it should be, well under. So we're in pretty good shape there.
Okay. Did anyone have any specific questions regarding either the budget or the expenses for the last few months? All right, well, we're just whipping right through this agenda. We'll go ahead then. I would like I guess we're just reviewing, so we don't need to take formal action on that. So the next item on the agenda is department matters. And so I will turn everything over to Tony, who can bring us up to speed. We haven't had a conversation in a few months, so just eager to hear kind of what's up and what's happening with METCOM.
First of all, we have to date this year, we have received 0 problem reports. We have had a couple of minor system issues. We did have our 888-5030 line fail on us 3 times, once at the end of April, twice during the month of May. That, as we've experienced with Frontier, was again like pulling teeth trying to figure out what the problem was, but they did finally report that they had a controller card issue, and that is allegedly repaired. The evidence to this point since then shows that it is, but my faith in that company is extremely low, so we just have our fingers crossed on that. We also did experience some Starcom issues last month. Lasted a couple of days. Motorola reported to us that it was atmospheric conditions. For those of you that have been around the radio world for a while, you know that that is not unusual. It just seems to be uncommon since we've moved to this higher frequency and Starcom. So, it just kind of caught us a little off guard to begin with that response from Motorola. But I do recall in the older days, we did experience atmospheric issues on a regular basis. So hopefully that was just an isolated issue and we won't experience that too many more times. Dave did give us a couple of CAD upgrades within the last month. They were very minor, but they needed to address some issues to keep us up to date with CAD. Did not create any other problems that we're aware of, and the impact to the users was extremely minimal. So that all went pretty well, especially since Dave's been working from home since this started. He was able to get everything done as needed from the comforts of his home. And kind of as a side note to that, I think I reported to the board, we here at METCOM, the 3 line supervisors, the 2 assistant directors, and the ETSP addressing technician has been working from home since this started. The work is getting done as it should be. So we've really had not any issues with that, maybe some minor communication glitches, but sometimes that happens even when we're in the same building. So we've been able to overcome that without a problem. We have had 1 supervisor return and the addressing technician has returned. So we're slowly moving back to getting the entire staff back into the building. I would expect that to take place within the next month, but we're able to get things done as we're moving along now. As far as overall staffing goes, we are at 21 fully trained TCs. Obviously, you know that we're allotted 24. We do have 1 in training. She's moving along very well. The reports are very good. And if things move as they are, we should expect to see her out on her own by the end of July, barring any hiccups. That shouldn't be a problem. We do have another TC hired. We've just delayed his start date for a little while until things calm down a little bit more with the COVID issues and staffing issues here. That leaves with just 1 open spot. We've been able to overcome, as usual with overtime, hasn't created any burden. Nobody's being burned out. It's mostly voluntary overtime at this point. Very few forces. We did have some forces last week during the unrest in the Twin Cities, but it didn't create any hardships for us. So we were able to take care of that without any problems as well. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. And I'll be happy to answer anybody's questions. We're doing well here, and I haven't anticipated any major problems at this point. Knock on wood. Oh, I guess I could update you real quick. ETSB at their last meeting did approve moving away from Frontier in almost every aspect that we are connected to them with. We are moving to a company called InDigital that will provide the 911 core services. They are also going to provide an update to our call handling equipment and take over management of that. We are moving our administrative phone lines to Metronet, and we are going to just completely wipe Frontier from the picture. We just a real quick side note, we just had another small issue dealing with Frontier. It wasn't an equipment issue. It was just customer service related. It was just basically the cherry on top with dealing with them and their unwillingness to provide us good customer service.
Thank you, Tony. I do have a quick question about Frontier. Do you have an update on where things stand in regard to, at one point we thought the state was going to be moving away from Frontier and taking some action, unless I'm confused about something, but do you know where that stands?
The state is moving to what they call an EZNet, and that's where the entire state will be on IP-based system, and that's what we're moving to early. To the best of my knowledge, the bid process has not closed with the state, but I'm not 100% sure on that, but they still have to go through picking a statewide vendor, and then they'll start the process on that. So we're still, best guess for me, we're still a couple years away from a statewide system. But McLean County, along with some other counties, are going to be ahead of the curve and have their system in place, ready to go. And it'll just be a matter of hooking into that ESINet when the state goes full statewide.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Tony? No? Okay. Thank you, Tony. Next item on the agenda is any items to present it. I don't have anything specific. Does anyone have any issues to discuss for the good of the order?
Ms. Reese, the only thing I would just mention is Tony had mentioned a little bit about the civil unrest that happened last week, and I would just say we, as part of that, we opened up a unified command center, ISU, and Tony's staff worked very seamlessly with us in switching over. We had some radio operations that we had to modify, and his staff was very accommodating on that, and that helped out a great deal in our plan last week. So kudos to Tony and his staff for doing that. I know there were a couple things that came up. We worked with them on it, but they were very accommodating.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Any other items? All right. Well, our next meeting is scheduled for August 14th. I don't believe we have any public comments or questions. Have you heard anything, Tony? Nothing? Okay. So with that, if there are no other items for discussion, we can take a motion to adjourn.
Rick Bleichner, so moved.
I'm willing a second.
Thank you. I'm going to assume consensus on adjourning. Thumbs up, everyone. Okay. Then we are adjourned at 9:13. So thank you, Tony, Patsy, and County, Camille. Thanks all for getting this coordinated.